Hey everyone, welcome to TYHub Let's Talk podcast. We're joined today by the Irish Air Corps technicians. Welcome to TYHub Let's Talk podcast. Can you tell me your name and rank and where you work within the technicians?
Yeah, no problem. My name's Anthony Whiteley. I'm a corporal within the Air Corps and I work in the flight training school.
Nice to meet you.
My name is Sean Moriarty. I'm a corporal as well, and I work in number 1 ops.
My name is Aaron Hearn. I'm an airman in number 3 operations wing. We work on the helicopters.
Okay, I'm going to target you straight away. Airman is different in what way?
I'm a rank below the two guys, so
Okay.
they're my bosses as such. So on crews and stuff, they would be crew leaders, where the airmen would make up the body of the crew, where we could perform the tasks and supervised by the crew leaders.
So how long have you been?
I'm
Okay.
in the same length as Corporal Whiteley,
Okay.
and I'm just 2 years behind Moriarty.
And when did you pass out?
We passed out in 2019 from the apprentice school. We joined in 2015,
Just before COVID.
just
Yeah.
before COVID.
And then it all went quiet.
We were still fairly busy now during COVID.
You're still very well, of course you were, yeah. So on a typical day, you're working in the helicopters. You're both working in fixed wing. But you're here specifically with the lovely aircrafts that are behind us, the PC-12s,
PC9.
nines. Look, I don't work here. And you work in the other unit
Yeah,
one.
so we work with the
so
PC-12s.
You work
We
with
have
the
our
PC-12.
295s and our government jet and our Lear 45.
Okay, so when you went through technician school or the apprenticeship, you did 3 years as an apprentice. So you did all your military training first, then you went through the apprenticeship, and that's
Yeah.
about 3 years, is
Yeah.
it?
3.5, 4 years really.
Okay.
It was about 9 months for the military training and then it was a normal cycle of college of 3 years.
Okay, and how long did you get to try out all the aircrafts while you're doing your apprenticeship, or what way did you then become part of the PC9, the flying school?
My class, the same as Aaron Hearn's class, during the summer we came up and done a work experience as such.
Okay.
We done about 8 weeks, 6 weeks in each hangar, got a taste to see what we liked and what we didn't like. Some places were for some people, some weren't at all for others. And is that the same with you?
Yeah, we were kind of the same. There was only... Yeah, my class was a lot smaller than most classes. There was only 5 of us in our class. So we were all
Right.
sent to each hangar like that, 6 weeks or so. And you just did a rotation every summer. Because when you're doing your college exams, unlike normal college, we're not off for the summer months. So we're
Right,
sent up
okay.
to the hangars on pretty much work experience. So you do your weeks stints in each hangar to see, get a feel, get hands-on job experience then as well. And then at the end of your apprenticeship, you get to kind of choose, or depends on if different
Where
units.
they need more.
Yeah, where they
manpower.
need more bodies then, and you're sent to whatever units are needed, or where you're needed, pretty much.
Cool. What inspired you to become specifically a technician? Is that what you wanted to join the Air Corps for? Did you enter the Air Corps as an apprentice?
Yeah,
Or did you start off somewhere else like half the others that I've interviewed today?
No. I joined the Air Corps by chance.
Okay.
I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Wanted to go to college, do some sort of engineering as such. And then just saw like an advertisement for an apprenticeship in the Air Corps. Didn't really know what I was getting into. Didn't know where the Air Corps was. Turned up that first day and still here 8.5 years later. Yeah.
And you've nine or 12 years, is it, after your...
My contract's for 9 years.
okay,
But I'll probably be here a bit longer than
a
that.
bit longer. Don't say a bit.
9.5.
And while you're here, have you learned any new skills? Have you gone into specific areas then in the engineering?
Yeah, so once we get divided up into whichever hangar we're into, we get courses that are specific to the aircraft that we're dealing with. So if you're working on helicopters, you're going to get a type course on a helicopter. I work on the PC9s here, and I've gotten courses from Pilatus, which is the manufacturer, concentrated on the aircraft behind me, so I know the ins and outs of it.
Okay. You're over in Unit 1. So you're
Yes.
working on 3 different types of aircrafts.
Yeah.
And one of them is fairly new.
Yeah.
So over the years, you've seen new aircrafts come in here, and you've had to upskill as they're coming in as well, learning the new, all the new tech that comes with it. They're nice and shiny when they arrive.
Yeah.
Not much to change on them.
No.
Except for the Learjet, that's not a newer one. So
No, that's been around, I think, since early 2000s, if not even. I actually think it might have come into service in '96, give or take around that. So that's been around a long time. But even since I've been up in the hangars, we had Cessnas. They were 45 years in service before they left. We recently got rid of our 235 Kazas. They were 28, 29 years in service as well. So we've seen a good few new ones come in and old ones leave. The Lear is probably our oldest one now at the moment.
the oldest one in service here.
It's still in service at the moment, number one.
And when you're focusing on one aircraft, you're focusing, well, there's
Two types
two
of
types of
helicopters.
aircrafts, but it's one particular area within the technicians. Is that really, really difficult to kind of go with the 3 of them, that it's something different every day?
No, not really. Like the main principles of the 3 are kind of the same. Yeah, it's the systems on each one are a little bit different. So, but like Whitey was saying, that we get our courses on them, so we're familiar with each aircraft. So you know how each one operates different to one another.
And the helicopters are slightly different. They don't have the fixed wings. They have the rotary wing, rotary. So that is like completely different working on different type of aircraft. Then
The helicopters. Yeah, there's some similarities, but the majority of the helicopters completely different to a fixed wing. So that's why we always bit of slagging that we're probably better technicians, but
there's healthy competition.
there's always competitions between units. Yeah, but the helicopters they're good. I like them. They're more versatile, I think, than an aircraft, where they can land anywhere, hover. They're the ones we have are quite good helicopters. They're quite easy enough to work on as well, so they're not too complicated.
On a typical day in the heli hangar, what would your role be?
So my role can kind of change. I'll either be here in Baldonnel doing heavy maintenance on the aircraft, so same as the lads, doing inspections, making sure everything's alright with the helicopter, or we could be down in Athlone with the air ambulance machine, and we're just making sure that if any issues arise with the helicopter, that we can get it back up and going as quick as possible to keep up the air ambulance service in the country.
Has there ever been a minute where the heli is supposed to just leave and it's like, oh, we just need to tighten this?
There has been just some issues where the heli is about to leave, and we've had to obviously shut down, try sort out the problem as quick as you can, and 90% of the time we do get it back on and get it out to the call, but there has been cases where it just can't go, unfortunately.
You're put under the pressure at that point. So how do you cope with that? Like, are you because you're not really put that through any other apprenticeship when you're doing it. So when you're in college, you're learning from the books. You're not really hands-on. So you're learning hands-on straight away when you join the Air Corps as an apprentice. Are you shown how to deal with pressure from the get-go as well? Because like that last-minute changes and stuff like that would put you under a lot of pressure.
I think recruit training was the big thing for that. We were putting a lot of pressure in recruit training. You have to be in certain places at a certain time and learning the military aspect of the Air Corps, and that really helps you to learn how to deal with pressure. So when you do come up to camp, you're kind of nearly used to pressure at that stage. And also then in the school, then it can be a lot of pressure put on you in the school to hit exams and make sure you get everything sorted and ready. So once you kind of get to the hangar, you've had to dealt with a good bit of pressure up to that stage anyway.
Over the 3.5 years, 4 years that you're doing the apprenticeship, is it continuous assessment, or is it like set exams at the end of every year?
Set exams nearly at every module.
Yeah, it's kind of changed a bit over the couple of years.
Okay. So I'll ask the tech skill for that one.
Yeah, more. Yeah. We would have done kind of exams at the end of the year with a couple of continuous assessments, but like ours was done. My year was the second year we did the degree. You still did the degree, but it's changed now where they ask exams now. So it's all kind of changed in the school now since we were in it. of 5, 6 years since some of us were in it. Like,
So while you're 5, 6
I'm
years,
6 years
you're
out of school now. Yeah,
You're 2019, so that's 5 years. Yeah.
Mm.
So
more.
do you? You're constantly upskilling as well. Is that really regular, or is it just when a new aircraft comes in or a new type of tech comes?
No, we're constantly doing courses.
Yeah,
New
yeah.
courses, working with new chemicals in the hangars. The maintenance manual might change, where the manufacturer of the aircraft might decide that there's a new procedure to do a job, so we'll have to learn how to do that procedure.
So you're always learning something.
Never stops.
What is the most challenging aspect of your job?
I suppose dealing with all the ornaments for the plane. So the PC-9 behind us has an ejection seat, so you just have to make sure that all the explosives aren't going to blow up in your face or anything like that. But typically, every job should be similar from one to the other. They're all difficult, but you have to just read the manuals, take it easy, make sure you get everything done correct, in a timely manner, but not in a pace that you're rushing. You have to
Okay.
make sure you get everything done.
And is there any specific skills that you would have needed to join as a technician? Like, is there anything for somebody in TY now or in 5th year that is looking at 6th year might be a bit late for changing subjects, but that would be looking at subjects for their future careers. So if they wanted to become an engineer, specifically in aviation, and even thinking about coming into the Air Corps, is there any specific skills or education that you would say go for this particular course in school, or kind of learn up about something different?
I think I know when we joined, you had to have a science course.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we did physics during the apprenticeship, but if you had a good understanding of physics and kind of maths, that does help. Obviously, you're taught in the school as it is. I don't know if that's still the same way it is now, but I know we did need one science subject as an entry requirement. I suppose skill-wise, we go to troubleshooting and kind of slightly thinking outside the box with regards if a problem comes up, because it's not necessarily going to be in a manual.
Yeah.
If you have an issue, you have to kind of try to work it out and see this issue is happening because X, Y, and Z, so that you can kind of work your way down to it to find, oh, okay, that's where the problem is actually originating from. Like,
And when you're learning all that from the military side as well, the team building and working together on different projects and issues, right through. So you're already when you're coming out the other end of your apprenticeship, you're already used to the people that are working in the hangar. You're used to your colleagues that you're going to be working with, and your higher ups and stuff like that. So it's totally different than when you're in college. Are you happy the route that you went down, becoming an apprenticeship within a field where you can move around? There's a job here ready for you at the end of your apprenticeship, rather than going to college like you were perhaps thinking of doing before joining.
I think an apprenticeship of sorts would have been best for me. I
Mhm.
didn't think college would have worked out for me now. But would I do it again? I think the Air Corps suits me as a job. It doesn't suit everyone now. You have people that would come in and then do the apprenticeship like every aspect of it, but then maybe external factors such as a long drive or unable to afford a house, things like that, that has some of our buddies that used to be in with us that are gone. I think this place is good for giving people the general ground up knowledge and
Mhm.
things like this, but yeah, I would do it again. Yeah.
You would do it again.
Yeah.
Would you?
yeah, I think I would. Yeah, again, the whole, like you were saying, the job security of kind of you're coming through your apprenticeship and you're guaranteed that once you pass all your exams that you have a job. Like, I did a year and a half in college before I came in, and it was no real certainty where I was going to go, what I was really going to do, if I was going to still be in Ireland or not, whether I'd have to move abroad. That kind of that can be a big factor to some people that don't really know what to do, and you don't really want to be kind of wasting a couple of years where you're going to, maybe I'll go to college, I'll do whatever, then come out and go, I don't really want to do any kind of job in that. Especially if you have kind of an interest in aviation maybe, and again even an interest in any kind of military kind of aspect of, so it's probably the right spot to be then. And you get a little bit of everything.
And is there anything you would change?
No,
No.
absolutely no. I don't think the even just the bond that you make with your work colleagues, with the guys you train with and go to the school, and then you're up camp working with them, is it's different to college where you're only with them for a few years and then they all head off to different jobs. Where we've all kind of kept close and still hang out, and it's you wouldn't really get that anywhere else.
Yeah. When you're working away, is there any specialised tools that you would use on your specific aircrafts that others wouldn't be using?
Yeah.
Any fun tools?
No, not really.
No, I think most of the tools would be fairly kind of not generic, but
I think the general things with our aircraft would simply just be maybe the weapon systems, rocket pods, machine guns mounted onto the wings of the planes. Ejection seats aren't used on other aircraft. You'd be putting machine guns onto the sides of the helicopters. General things like that.
yeah.
Anything in number one? No.
The only thing maybe we might have different is we have a fall arrest system because we'd be working on the top of the aircraft.
Okay.
Because they're a lot bigger than the helis and the PC-9s here. They're more of a safety feature, like but tool-wise, no, most of the tools are probably fairly similar.
Fairly similar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
between
yeah.
each unit, like you get
Yeah.
generic. Obviously, there's specific tools for specific jobs on each aircraft, but
Well, I'll lead that on to, does your job differ from a civilian job that's similar to what you're doing? So you've just said the weapons and that kind of stuff, but like civilian airplanes, even just the single engine aircraft, they are different to what you have here, and helicopters as well. So you've got seats that you can remove, and then you don't. But you've got seats that you can remove and put the ambulance, the bed in, and that kind of stuff. So there is constant changes there. So how would you describe what's different to your job besides the weapons? To
Do you guys
to
want to
the
answer
civilian
this?
aircraft.
well, like that you said there, but the air ambulance stuff, like that's that's obviously much different than a normal standard civilian company or so. That we'd have to bring patients or kids or adults or whatever to other countries for treatments and stuff. So that's probably the main difference. Like I suppose the roles, most of the aircraft can be kitted out for loads of different roles. We can ministerial flights, they can troop transport even with the helis as well. So different kind of they have different roles and stuff as opposed to a civilian company that might only just do transport.
Is there any misconceptions about your job? Is there something that people would think, oh, well, I don't want to become a tech in the Air Corps for X reason, that you've come across that you thought maybe, oh, well, it's actually not at all like what I thought the job would be?
I think so, really.
No misconceptions at all?
I think
Not
the
that I know of, like.
misconceptions that you'd be asked, do you fly the plane?
Oh,
Oh,
right,
You know what I
okay.
mean? Things
Yeah.
like this. What
Yeah,
uniform do you wear? Where do you
Okay.
work?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know the air bases here in Baldonnel, in Dublin.
I think most
Uh,
people assume you're just coming out of Dublin Airport.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, there'll be a lot of people that just think you must be up. Oh, you're in the Air Corps. Oh, you're up in Dublin Airport. No, you're not in Dublin Airport at all. Like.
There is a couple of questions that came in from students.
Okay.
About fuel capacity that I'm pretty sure you might actually get better than the pilots did.
No,
When you're so let me go to this. Oh, it's gonna go to you. No, that one's straight away. So what is the largest aircraft that we have in the Air Corps fleet, and what is the fuel capacity of that aircraft?
so the largest one we have is our new Airbus 295s. Fuel capacity. I'm gonna say I think it's up to 8,000 kilos of fuel. Could be wrong there now. I should know that. I don't. But I think it's around that, give or take 8 to 9,000 kilos.
Okay. Would you have to go with the aircraft to on missions to help out, like for refueling, tech side?
Yeah, we
anything like
have
that?
we have designated roles in the unit as load masters. So we would have to go with the aircraft on, yeah, like that. For normally load master would be for kind of calculating the weight and balance. So if we were going with a cargo, to make sure it's loaded properly, to work out like that, to calculate how much fuel we'll need for the trip. For if we're going on an air ambulance, again, the nursing staff will be with the patient and stuff, but to make sure that everything is secured, or bags, make sure they're seated, and then any issues that you have with the aircraft while it's on the ground, you're looking after that. So we do have a kind of a crew that's there as load masters that would go flying with them. Like,
And have you gone on any flights, like not flying the aircraft, but like as the tech crew?
Yeah.
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 So you look so convincing. Yep.
Who-
Nope.
who-
Have you gone on all three, or have you've gone on the PC9s? Have you?
Yeah,
As a tech for
The PC9s are also our they do acrobatics. They're our display team. Sometimes they go to RIA, which is an air show over in England, and the technicians have been flown in the rear of the aircraft with the pilots.
okay.
And then when the air show is happening over there, technicians typically get the plane ready before the pilot goes flying. So that would be their role in that capacity within FTS.
What is different for an air show that you would do for the aircraft that you wouldn't normally do?
For the air show, we would put a smoke tank in the rear of the plane. So we have a little box there behind us. We'd put a smoke generation tank into it. In previous years, we done green, white, and orange for the centenary, or 2016 for the 100 years from 1916. But we'd put smoke in, so the display team would have an extra edge in their. They'd be competing against other display teams from England, Italy.
So when
as
they're
such.
doing the twists and the turns, there's smoke bellowing out. Where does the smoke come out of?
It comes out of the exhausts up the front.
Okay.
Only on the right hand side, we actually have an exhaust that's designed to shoot out smoke. But in a normal day flying, we just wouldn't have the smoke tank in the back. And
Okay.
then when the pilot's ready to activate it, you just press a button inside and off
Do
it
the
goes.
helis have anything cool like that?
No. We'd fit the Bambi bucket and stuff to show off different operations, but usually if we're on an air show, we'll just fit it to the configuration they want.
The Bambi bucket, is that the
The one for firefighting, yeah.
for picking up the water in
Yeah.
the ocean?
Yeah, well,
Or
yeah,
anywhere.
any body of water, yeah. And then
And what's the capacity of that?
it's about a ton of water. I'm not sure.
Right,
so about 1,000
okay.
liters or so.
So that goes on the aircraft before it would leave Baldonnel then, would it?
Yeah, usually they'd fly to the area of the fire first, because you can fly quicker with the Bambi bucket off, and
Yeah.
we'll have it in the cabin, and then it'll be fitted to the aircraft at the scene to do as many drops as they can, and then return back to base then with it off.
So there's two types of helis.
Yes, the AW139 and the Eurocopter 135.
The first one you mentioned, is that the biggest one
Yeah.
out of the two?
That's
What is the fuel? Do you know what the fuel capacity is for each of them? Show
yeah.
them up.
So the fuel is 1,250 kgs of fuel, and it lasts roughly about 4 hours, depending on the weight of the aircraft. Obviously, if you're carrying more passengers or more cargo, you're going to have a less fuel capacity time. So
What's the flight on the 295?
they can
For
fly
that
up
then.
to about 8 hours.
8 hours.
Yeah.
So would the helis and the what would the normal flight range be on a PC?
For a PC9, you could fly to Paris, no problem. And then we also have external fuel tanks to extend our flight time. And then we could fly to Milan in one go.
Okay, because I was going to say, where would you have to refuel then? Like, there's a point. Would they go that far? Would they normally fly that far, or have they flown that far?
They're
They would fly to the Paris Air Show anyway.
so we send our PC9s back for heavy maintenance. They're built by a Swiss company, so we send it back to a place in Switzerland called Lucerne, and we add on the external fuel tanks so it can fly there in one go. But previously it was landing in Paris without the external fuel tanks, but we were just trying to cut the
Get a little
extra
bit further.
hours. Yeah.
Right. And have you gotten to travel with them for to learn new skills in where the planes are going for the maintenance, the long haul maintenance? Or do you just stay here?
I've flown to the maintenance facility in Switzerland, yes. I haven't done any courses over there or anything, but it was more just to pick up the aircrafts being finished after its heavy maintenance that was scheduled for it.
Okay. You haven't done any training abroad for...
I've done a month in Switzerland in the Platts factory for our PC-12s.
Okay.
And 6 weeks in Seville for our 295s.
I've done 6 weeks in Oxford last year with the 125 over their training facility, and I'm going to Milan in July for 4 weeks to learn about the 129.
So you're going for training on the
just
specific aircrafts that we have here.
Yeah, Pacific type course.
Did you get to go to Switzerland for that long?
No, I got the short straw.
So I'm trying to beef you all up here. What have you got any favourite memories from, or memorable moments from all your training and working with the aircrafts?
Good memory of mine is I got sent across to an air show in Austria called Air Power, and it's a really good air show, fantastic. You had air crews from Japan, China, America, all around Europe, things like that. It's really good. Yeah.
I'd say probably, I suppose, when you think back at some of the recruit training and stuff you do with, because you kind of come in, you don't kind of know anyone, and kind of, like you were saying earlier, the kind of friendship that you make with the lads and stuff that you're doing it with. When you look back at it now, you kind of go, oh yeah, they were fond memories, and you have a good laugh about some of the stuff that you were doing and some of the kind of situations you got yourself into. Like,
Yeah, I'd be the same. Just the memories from the apprentice school, and if we did get some time off, we'd go on a lads' holiday, say somewhere. Just them kind of memories, not so much the word memories.
You really do bond with your
Yeah.
group, because your groups are fairly, what you've mentioned, are fairly small groups to
and
start off
like
with.
when you join the Air Corps first, you're obviously accommodated, but you could be in a 5-man room, so the 5 of you are living together for 2-3 years at the start, so you really get to know everyone, like, so properly.
Get to know everybody's quirks.
Yeah.
I know I've kind of covered that one already, but is there anything that you would say to a teenager now, regardless if it's in aviation or engineering? So I'm going to just ask a general question. What advice would you give somebody that has got an interest in something or doesn't know what they want to do?
You can take loads of different avenues if you come to the Air Corps. Not necessarily. There was a few guys that joined in my class, did recruit training with us, and went to the apprentice school and realised that engineering wasn't for them, but the Air Corps was.
Okay.
And they went on to become crewmen in helicopters, chefs, work down as medics in the medical aid post. You can go to the military police. So it's not once you join the Air Corps, you just because you say you're going to be a technician, if you find you don't enjoy it, there is way more other avenues you can take.
Super. Well, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
It's been a enlightening chat. Definitely brush up on how much fuel capacity the engines have.
True, yeah.
How much you need in the fuel tank. And wish you the very best for the next few years. Is there any, like, there's avionics as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's other avenues within the tech program that you can go down. It's not just working on the aircraft. There is other sides. So you never know, we might see in the tech side of the techs.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, that's all from TYHub Let's Talk podcast today. I hope you all enjoyed the interviews, and we'll see you all again soon. Thanks a mil.